Now let's understand how the web pages are built. They're built using a combination of technologies, primarily HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now assume you are building a house. Now think of HTML as the foundation and framework of the house. That means the bricks, beams, walls, doors, and windows, right? That form the structure. Without it, the house wouldn't exist. So HTML is like that. You will build edit box, list box, push button, and all the elements, all the controls using HTML. Now CSS is like, painting the house, adding wallpapers, furniture, and decorations. Using CSS, you can change the color of elements, color of text, the font. So the look and feel of the web page can be changed using CSS. Now what about JavaScript? It adds the interactivity to the web pages. It's like the electricity and smart devices in the house. You can tap a switch and turn on the lights or fan. You're interacting with the device, right? So just like that, by JavaScript, you can add interactivity. When you click a button, something can be performed, that some data can be processed and it can be submitted to the database, or some animation can be played. So it lets you add the interactivity. Now take a look at a sample HTML document. HTML defines the structure of a web page. All the elements that you see on a web page are defined using HTML. So here you can see that it has a collection of tags. Tags are written in angle brackets. Here, title is a tag which defines the page title. The tag P defines a paragraph. Now look at a sample CSS. So here we define a style H1 with a particular color and a font size. We predefine the styles and then we apply that to an element. Here's a JavaScript sample script. Well, so what we have written here is when a particular button is clicked, what has to happen? It is showing an alert, welcome to my home. So we don't need to by heart any of these scripts. So this is just to get a feel of how HTML, JavaScript, and CSS works. Our focus is primarily on Selenium. Now let's further dig into HTML. A web page is constructed with HTML elements. So whatever controls that you see, like edit box, push button, checkbox, etc., are constructed with HTML elements. If you need to work with Selenium efficiently, you need to have an idea about HTML elements. Let's take a look at the syntax of an element. It should have an opening tag with a set of attributes, and then its content and the closing tag. So closing tag starts with a /, and obviously the tags are enclosed in angle brackets. Now take an example here. There is a button element. So it starts with an opening tag button and it has got some attributes. Type is an attribute and submit its value. So an attribute always comes as a key value pair. So here ID is an attribute and submit button is a value. Class is an attribute, btn primary is its value. Now submit is the content of this element, and there is a closing tag /button. Now let's take another example here, button element. So there is an opening tag and then there is a closing tag /button, and in between it has got its content. Interestingly here, the content is another tag. We can call it as a child element here. Okay, so an element can be the content of another element. That's possible. So here there's a span tag, there's an opening tag, and its content click me, and the closing tag is /span. All right. For certain elements, the contents are not allowed. For example, input. So in that case, you have only opening tags for such elements. Okay, there won't be any closing tags. So for example, for input, there is an opening tag here, and it has got its attributes, type, ID, and name, but doesn't have a closing tag. Now let's see how some very common HTML elements are implemented. we need to understand how the syntax is. Okay, let's start with text box or input box. The HTML tag is input with the attribute type set to text, and this is used for taking input from the user, maybe a name or email ID or address. Now let's take a look at a checkbox or toggle button. It's constructed with the input tag with the type attribute set to checkbox. Okay, so this allows the user to select an option. Okay, you can select or deselect a particular option. Now take a look at the radio or option button. Here the input tag is used with the type set to radio. So usually there is going to be multiple option buttons on the screen, and you will be allowed to select only one of these. Now come to push button. A push button can be created in two different ways, using the button tag, and you can also create it with the input tag with the type set to button. A push button can be used for submitting a set of data. So for example, when you click the button, a set of details that you filled will be submitted. Now how about list box or drop down? The tag select is used for the list box, and you have to specify each option with the option tags within the opening and closing select tags. Okay, so here in this example we have different options displayed, and all these options are specified over here with the option tags. Option 1, option 2, option 3 are the contents of different option tags here. Now take a look at the hyperlink. A hyperlink is created with a tag. It stands for anchor, and here there is an attribute href which specifies where you have to be navigated when you click on the link text, and you specify the link text as the content, and then you have the closing tag. So now here in this example, the content click me, it is displayed as the link text, and there is a link also here, right? When you click this link, you will be navigated to the URL specified on the href attribute.